What I love most about pickleball is the fact that I'm able to play it for the most part. I used to play tennis. I tried playing tennis professionally. It was my goal to take it to the highest level I could. And unfortunately, due to injuries and things of that matter, I couldn't continue doing that. And then I would say around the end of 2018, I heard about the sport of pickleball. And it's a smaller court, it's easier on the body, and it was something I was physically able to do, not just, kind of play with friends, but also compete at a high level. So that's probably the biggest thing I love about pickleball. I think when it comes to the diversity, I think, just like sports like tennis or golf, where it's more individual, I think there is that lack of a diversity. I'm proud to represent and be one of the few. I'm somewhat used to it just coming from tennis. There just isn't a lot of diverse people in general when it comes to those kind of sports. Hopefully, with me playing, I'm hoping that it encourages, more of the minority to also pick it up and start playing. But yeah, I enjoy kind of taking on that responsibility of kind of supporting and, being that person that they can look up to. I enjoy it, and it's a huge responsibility because there's a lot on your shoulder. You always have to try your hardest. You always have to represent, and I'm up for the task. So yeah, I hopefully one day, there'll be more. But until then, I'm willing to be the face for those people. My goals for 2023 are, one, the biggest one for me was to become a better partner and team player. I think, I can always improve on my game. For me, almost that ends up being slightly easier because I'm an analyst and look at things. So physically working on my game is actually easier than kind of mentally becoming just a better partner and a better teammate. So I think that's probably my biggest goal. Of course, I want to be able to get better and perform better and, win medals. And I think everybody wants that. But I think for me, kind of going out on the court, as serious as I am, having a little bit more fun. So finding that balance between being serious and intense, but also having fun, being a good partner and a good teammate. And then not getting injured. It's a big thing for me also. Like I'm not as young as a lot of these upcoming players. So for me, being able to play the full year and kind of remain healthy and not be injured so I'm allowed to continue to play is a big thing that I focus on. Well, something that people may not know about me is that before all of this began way back lifetimes ago, I was a dancer. So way before I even started playing tennis, when I was 2-3 years old, I was actually a very good dancer. I was part of a dance company, and we would, travel around and compete and win medals and all that stuff. So I did ballet, tap, jazz. I did all of it. My goal was to be on river dance. So I was a serious dancer before I even picked up tennis. So that's something not a lot of people know because, again, it was lifetimes ago. But that's a cool thing about me. I would say one of the hardest things to learn about pickleball was probably the soft game, especially coming from tennis. And I was a huge baseliner, so I had a lot of power. I had, big ground strokes. So I think for me, transitioning from tennis to pickleball, the hardest thing was the soft stuff. So the resets, the drops, the dinking, all of those things were very new to me, especially when, in tennis, you're kind of just always at the baseline and you're never really having to hit anything soft, no volleys, nothing like that. So I think for me, that was probably the hardest. I think the easiest thing was probably, and it's funny because for a lot of people it's hard, was once I'm at the kitchen kind of reaching out and hitting the balls out of the air and the power that I can get from it, because it was very similar to me like a swinging volley in tennis. And I actually have very good swinging volleys in tennis. It was something that I did quite often. So that was probably the easiest thing for me to kind of understand and figure out. And the hardest would definitely be anything soft. Now, the good part for me is that I love drilling and I love kind of putting in the hours and the reps. I'm a nickname that people would call me is the machine because I'll just go out there and just keep doing it. So even though it was hard for me to learn the soft game, I was willing to put in enough hours to figure it out. And now I'm really good at it. It's probably the one thing I'm really good at is just making balls and hitting it soft and resets and dings. And so, yeah, put in the time. The machine. I am the machine. Okay, well, I think if you want to go pro, the best advice I can give is watching video and watching all the best players. And I would say pick something that you like that they do and try to copy it. Because that's kind of what I did when I first started. You know, before I had even really played, I watched a ton of video of different matches of the best players at the time. So I was watching like Simone Jardine, I was watching Lucy Kovalova, I was watching all of these players that were at the top of the game, you know, in 2018, 2017, 2019. And I was just watching their videos, and I kind of took something from each of them that I liked, and then I would try to go out there and kind of mimic and copy it. And that's kind of how I started, and I would just piece it together. And then I would say get comfortable with that, and then as you grow into a better player, then you can kind of add your own style, but, you know, kind of keep it simple at the beginning and just learn how to do the basics really well. And then you can add some, you know, creativity to it later. Someone brought up about my skincare, and I was like, guys, you don't understand. I wake up an hour early in the morning just so I can go through my skincare routine, and I lay it all out, and it's all organized, and I have all of my, you know, and I've been doing this since I was like 12, 13. Because the problem is, like, when it comes to skin, is like if you try to start once the wrinkles start coming in, you're too late. You can't fix it at that point. So you have to start early. So I have this huge skincare routine, and, you know, I stick to it every morning. And honestly, I have two goals in life. My first goal is to make money. My second goal is to never look my age. And that's it. I have a very simple life. I don't really care much about anything else. Just make a lot of money and never look my age. And that's it. Never look my age. And this is what I've realized when it comes to never looking your age. Stress causes wrinkles. Problems cause wrinkles. Like, just, you know, always being worried about things and all that stuff causes wrinkles. So you just don't live a stressful life, and you just don't worry about stuff. You know, like like I know a lot of people don't like the saying "it is what it is," but sometimes, you know, you got to ask yourself, does it help? And that's usually that's kind of always been my go-to. If anything happens, before I react to it, I'm like, does it help? Is your reaction, whatever you're going to feel, is it going to change the outcome of what has just happened? If it doesn't, just let it go. Don't worry about it. It's not in your control. So, and that leads to good skin. That's my life. I just try to live a very stress-free life. I, you know, try to be happy, try not to worry too much about stuff. Things happen, can't control it, just let it go.